For over 2,000 years, the story of Atlantis has haunted human imagination, a once great civilization swallowed by the sea, erased in a single day and night of catastrophe. We've been told it's a myth, a parable created by Plato to illustrate moral decay. But what if that's not the whole truth? What if the story of Atlantis is not just a warning, but a memory? Consider this. Nearly every ancient culture holds a flood myth. From the Sumerians to the Maya, from the Bible to the Aboriginal Dreamtime, stories of an advanced civilization, a golden age, destroyed by water. Coincidence or collective memory of a forgotten chapter in human history? Plato claimed Atlantis existed 9,000 years before his time, a thriving empire with advanced knowledge, incredible architecture, and mastery over energy. He described concentric rings of land and water, temples clad in orichalcum, and technologies that sound disturbingly modern. But why would Plato risk his reputation on a fabricated story? And why did later scholars go to such lengths to discredit it? Because Atlantis challenges the official narrative. If Atlantis existed, then human civilization is far older and far more advanced than we've been taught. And if it was destroyed, by what? Natural disaster, cosmic event, or deliberate intervention? These are the questions they don't want us asking. Because if we begin to remember what Atlantis truly was, we might also remember the knowledge they carried and why that knowledge has been systematically suppressed ever since. As we go deeper, we'll uncover evidence that Atlantis may have been very real, and we'll explore why its legacy still threatens those who seek to control human consciousness. But first, you must ask yourself, why has a story this ancient refused to die? The deeper you look, the harder it becomes to dismiss Atlantis as mere myth. Plato described its destruction with unsettling precision, a single day and night of earthquakes and floods that consumed an entire continent. But here's what's rarely mentioned. Plato claimed this account came from Egyptian priests, guardians of knowledge far older than Greece. Why would such a respected source fabricate a story so detailed, so specific? And why do similar stories echo across the ancient world? In India, the Mahabharata speaks of vast cities and devastating floods. In Mesoamerica, legends tell of a shining land swallowed by the sea. In the Sumerian king list, a great flood resets human history. It's as if the memory of Atlantis, under many names, has survived global cataclysm. And here's where the story turns. Recent geological discoveries reveal that during the Younger Dryas period, around 12,800 years ago, Earth experienced sudden climate shifts, massive floods, and unexplained extinctions. Evidence of asteroid impacts, meltwater pulses, global seismic activity. Exactly the kind of event that could erase an entire civilization. Could this be the event that destroyed Atlantis? Mainstream archaeology dismisses the idea. They cling to the view that human civilization began only 6,000 years ago, with no room for lost advanced cultures. But sites like Göbekli Tepe, underwater ruins off the coast of Japan, and megalithic structures beyond current engineering challenge this view. If Atlantis was real, it means our history is incomplete, intentionally incomplete. Because if humanity once reached a level of knowledge rivaling or surpassing ours, we would be forced to ask, what did they know, and who benefits from keeping us in the dark? These are not comfortable questions, but they are necessary. And as we continue, we'll follow the hidden trail of evidence that leads from the ruins of ancient temples to the very structure of consciousness itself. Stay with this. The real story is only beginning. If Atlantis was real, If an advanced civilization did thrive over 12,000 years ago, then what kind of knowledge did they possess? This is where the story gets dangerous. Legends say the Atlanteans mastered not only physical technologies, but consciousness itself, that they used sound, frequency, and crystal energy to power their cities, not fossil fuels. They allegedly understood the vibrational nature of reality, what modern quantum physics is only now beginning to grasp. Ancient texts speak of levitation, healing through harmonic resonance, and the manipulation of subtle energy fields. Some even claim the Atlanteans built their structures, not with brute force, but through sound. Now consider this. Modern experiments in cymatics show that sound can organize matter into precise patterns. Acoustic levitation is no longer science fiction. What if the Atlanteans had perfected this? It would explain how megalithic sites across the world, featuring stones weighing hundreds of tons, were constructed with a level of precision modern engineers cannot replicate. But here's the part no one wants to confront. If such knowledge once existed, it was lost, or worse, hidden. Why? Because it would render modern power structures obsolete. A civilization that draws limitless energy from the earth and cosmos, that heals without pharmaceuticals, that elevates consciousness beyond fear and division. Such a civilization cannot be controlled. And this may be the true reason the story of Atlantis is ridiculed, not because it's false, but because it's threatening. The victor writes history, they say, and those who inherited the ashes of Atlantis may have ensured that its true legacy remained buried, yet fragments survive in hermetic teachings, in alchemical texts, in the architecture of ancient temples, and perhaps in the very geometry of our DNA. As we go further, you'll see how the Atlantean legacy may still be influencing our world, and why some forces will do anything to keep it suppressed. The question is, are you ready to remember? There's a reason the story of Atlantis refuses to die, because pieces of it keep surfacing despite every attempt to bury them. Consider this. Why do so many ancient temples across the globe encode the same geometric principles? The flower of life, the golden ratio, sacred geometry that reflects not just artistic design, but the mathematical structure of the universe. These patterns are found in Egyptian temples, Sumerian artifacts, Mayan glyphs, and even megalithic sites like Stonehenge. Coincidence or a shared legacy? Many researchers believe that what we call sacred geometry is actually Atlantean science, a system for harmonizing structures, consciousness, and natural forces. And the deeper you look, the clearer the connections become. Ancient texts hint that the Atlanteans understood the ley lines of the earth, natural energy currents that flow through the planet. They built their cities and temples along these lines to amplify and distribute subtle energy. Modern studies of megalithic sites show consistent alignments with these global energy grids. How did ancient cultures, separated by oceans and time, come to the same understanding? Because they weren't as separate as we've been taught. And here's where the story grows even stranger. Some traditions claim that a remnant of the Atlantean priesthood survived the cataclysm, dispersing across the world to seed this knowledge into emerging civilizations. In Egypt, they became the builders of the first temples. In Mesoamerica, the teachers of the Maya. In India, the sages of the Vedas. Fragments of a lost science passed down through mystery schools and encoded in myth. But why all the secrecy? Because true power, power over mind, matter, and energy, has always been guarded, and those who seek to control the masses fear nothing more than an awakened population. The Atlantean legacy is not about ancient cities. It's about consciousness, and that is what makes it dangerous. As we continue, you'll see how this suppressed truth is not ancient history, but a key to reclaiming your power today. Stay with this. The real awakening is just ahead. It's easy to dismiss Atlantis as ancient history, a lost city, a forgotten age. Interesting, but irrelevant. But that is the greatest lie of all. Because if Atlantis was real, and its knowledge survives, then it is deeply relevant. Right now. You see, the Atlanteans were said to understand the unity of mind, body, and energy. They didn't separate science from spirit. They recognized that consciousness shapes reality. Thought is the builder, their teachings say. And this is where the suppressed truth becomes personal. Modern science is finally catching up. Quantum physics shows that observation collapses probability into actuality. Consciousness influences matter. Intention shapes outcome. These are not mystical ideas. They are measurable phenomena. Now ask yourself, why is this understanding not part of mainstream education? Why are we taught to see ourselves as isolated beings in a dead universe, powerless, separate, limited? Because an empowered population cannot be controlled. And this is the true threat of the Atlantean legacy. Not ancient flying machines, not crystal towers, but the understanding that reality is malleable, that human beings are creators, not victims. And the more we embody this truth, the less effective the old tools of control become. Fear, division, scarcity. These lose their grip when consciousness expands. And right now, around the planet, consciousness is expanding. People are questioning old narratives, exploring ancient wisdom, reclaiming inner power. And this wave of awakening is not random. It is the return of a knowledge that was never truly lost, only hidden. And you, watching this now, are part of its reemergence. But the question remains, why now? Why is this ancient memory resurfacing at this particular moment in history? As we go deeper, you'll see that what happened to Atlantis may hold a warning and a map for what is unfolding today. Stay tuned. The pattern is repeating. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And those who've studied the deeper layers of the Atlantis story believe we are living through that rhyme right now. According to ancient texts, Atlantis fell not through natural disaster alone, but through its own hubris. As the Atlanteans advanced, they began to misuse their knowledge. They turned tools of healing into weapons. They exploited the Earth's energy without balance. They sought power over others rather than harmony with the whole. And this imbalance triggered the collapse. When the hearts of men turned from wisdom to dominion, the Earth responded, says one ancient account. Now look around. We live in an age of incredible technology, yet also incredible disconnection. We manipulate the fabric of life without full understanding. We prioritize profit over planet. We weaponize media, divide societies, and suppress knowledge that could empower. Sound familiar? Many believe we are approaching a similar tipping point, a moment where the collective vibration of humanity determines whether we repeat Atlantis's fate or transcend it. And here's the hopeful part. This time, the story can end differently, because unlike Atlantis, this awakening is global. It's decentralized. It's happening through millions of individuals reclaiming their inner power, not waiting for institutions to lead. The suppressed truths of Atlantis are resurfacing now because they are needed, not as nostalgia, but as tools for navigating this transition. Understanding vibration, energy, and consciousness is no longer esoteric. It is essential, and those who embrace this knowledge can become anchors of coherence amid the chaos. As the old falls away, the new must be anchored by the awakened, says an ancient prophecy. You are part of that anchoring, but it requires action, not grand gestures, consistent alignment, thought, word, deed. And as more of us align, the field shifts, and with it, the future. As we continue, you'll learn how to embody the Atlantean wisdom in practical ways, and why your role in this unfolding story matters more than you know. Stay tuned. The choice point is here. So how do we embody the wisdom of Atlantis today? It begins with vibration. All is frequency, say the ancient teachings. Raise your frequency, and reality responds. This is not just metaphor. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak carries a vibrational signature, and the collective vibration of humanity shapes the global field. In Atlantis, this was understood deeply. Music, architecture, language, all were designed to elevate consciousness. Temples were tuned to healing frequencies. Daily practices centered on aligning breath, body, and mind with cosmic rhythms. This wasn't spirituality, it was science. And here's where it becomes practical. In a chaotic world, your personal coherence matters more than ever. Coherence means inner alignment, a state where heart, mind, and body resonate in harmony. When you enter this state, even briefly, you influence the field around you. Studies in heart-brain coherence show that one coherent individual can uplift the emotional state of those nearby. Now imagine millions doing this consistently. This is how the new Atlantis is seeded, not as a city, but as a frequency, and you can contribute. Begin with small daily practices, breath work to calm and center, conscious speech to elevate vibration, focused intention to align thought with purpose, gratitude to shift emotional resonance. These aren't abstract ideals. They are tools for navigating the shift, and the more you practice, the more synchronicities appear, the more you'll notice reality responding to your internal state. This is not magic, it is mastery. And as more of us reclaim this mastery, the old structures lose their grip, because control systems feed on incoherence, fear, division, distraction. But coherence is immune. And this is why the Atlantean legacy matters now more than ever. It offers a path forward, not through revolution, but through evolution. And as we go deeper, you'll see how this path is accelerating, and why your role in it is more important than you might realize. Stay with this. The momentum is building. Atlantis shall rise again, not in stone, but in spirit. This line from ancient prophecy is more relevant now than ever, because the rise of Atlantis is not about uncovering lost ruins. It's about recovering lost wisdom, and that wisdom is already spreading through conversations like this, through individuals like you remembering who they truly are. Each time you choose coherence over fear, alignment over reaction, you are living the Atlantean legacy. And the more who do, the faster the field shifts. But this shift requires vigilance. Guard thy heart, for it is the gateway. The old teachings remind us. Guard it against cynicism, despair, distraction, because the forces that once suppressed this knowledge have not vanished. They've adapted. They flood us with noise. They fragment attention. They distort ancient truths into marketable trends. Your task is not to fight them, but to out-vibrate them, to become so internally coherent that external chaos loses its grip. And here's the secret: you don't have to do this alone. Across the planet, a quiet network of awakening souls is forming. You've already touched it by being here, by following this path, and now you can strengthen it. Speak that which uplifts, share that which enlightens, act that which aligns. If this message resonates, consider sharing it, not to convince, but to connect. Leave a comment below. Your voice may echo further than you know, and if someone in your circle is ready, send this to them, because the awakening accelerates through connection, and Atlantis rises through us. As we move forward, you'll see that this is only the beginning, and that the true power of this knowledge lies not in the past, but in the future we are co-creating now. The question is, will you be part of it? You may think you're watching this video alone, but you're not. Right now, across continents and cultures, thousands, millions are awakening to the same quiet knowing that the story we've been told is incomplete, that there is more to who we are, more to what we can be. And this is the deeper meaning of Atlantis. It's not just a lost civilization, it's a suppressed truth about human potential, and that truth is rising, not through institutions, through individuals, through you. The many shall awaken as one, and the veil shall be lifted, say the ancient prophecies. And we are living those words. Every conversation you spark, every truth you embody, contributes to the resonance of this awakening. And make no mistake, resonance is contagious. As more people align with coherence, the field shifts. Old structures become unstable. New possibilities emerge. This is why the Atlantean wisdom is resurfacing now, because it is needed, not to repeat the past, but to evolve beyond it. And you are part of that evolution. If these words resonate, know this: you are not alone. You are part of a global network of awakening consciousness. You may never meet most of these souls, but you will feel them in synchronicities, in sudden insights, in the quiet knowing that you are on the right path. And if you feel called to deepen this connection, act. Connection amplifies. Isolation diminishes. Share your thoughts below. Share this video with those ready to hear. Add your frequency to the field, because together we are weaving a new story, and Atlantis is rising through us. But the question remains, what kind of civilization will we create this time? As we move into the final part of this journey, reflect on this, because the future is unwritten, and the pen is in your hands. You've made it this far. That alone means something, because the greatest secret of Atlantis is not buried beneath the sea. It is buried within us. The true fall of Atlantis was not physical. It was a fall in consciousness, a forgetting of who we are, of what we can create. And now we are remembering. The memory of the one shall awaken in the many, the old teachings say. And you, here, now, are part of that awakening. But memory alone is not enough. It must be embodied. It must move from thought to action, from curiosity to coherence. Because the future of our civilization will not be determined by those who cling to old power. It will be shaped by those who remember and live the deeper truths. Thought creates, vibration shapes, action manifests. This is the Atlantean legacy, and now it is in your hands. So ask yourself, how will you align your vibration? What will you create? What will you embody? Because the new Atlantis will not rise through stone, it will rise through us. Through every thought, every word, every choice that reflects the higher knowing. And as more of us align, the new story will eclipse the old. When the many remember, the few shall no longer rule. This is the moment. And if these words resonate, if you feel the call, don't let it fade. Speak, act, connect, share your insights below. Add your voice to this field, and if this message touched something within you, share it. Let it ripple outward, because together we are writing the next chapter, and this time we will remember.